indeed, ladies and gentlemen. You are listening to Blue Please right here on cynicalbrit.com. Or in the voice acting provided by Anomaly Warzone Earth. What's my best Jason Statham? Oh, I'm Jason Statham. This is Blue Please right here on cynicalbrit.com. Myself, Total Biscuit, Jabroni. My God. Jabroni! Christ. Yeah, that game was so fun until I heard it open its damn mouth, kind of like Geordie women. Okay, let's get on with this show, shall we, ladies and gentlemen? I bring you this wonderful quote. A wonderful blue post, as always. Aren't they all? They're not. They're actually not. Just FYI. I continue to breathe in. And then I shall not need to breathe again for another 5 minutes. Yes. Okay. So there's a thread called Old WoW, and as with most things on the forums, there's a problem. I.e., it's all bollocks. Pretty much all of it. It really is. It's all bollocks. It all sucks. It's all terrible. It's all absolutely goddamn abysmal. Which is why no reasonable discussion can ever be had on the WoW forums, because as much as I would like to try and agree with the OP, he's too stupid. Let's read what the OP has to say. I'll give you a link to this if you'd like. You can read along with me. The person in question is called Poppy Seeds. Dear Lord. Old WoW. Okay, sorry to bring this up. I used to play WoW in 2005 and 2006, and it was capped at level 60. Really? Thank you for the information, Poppy Seeds. I am glad to hear that with your level 70 character. Back in the day, it was so much better than now. I feel current WoW now is too easy, and a lot of complexities are raised for the ease of the less intelligent. Like yourself? No more 40-man raids. Are you serious? Is that... My God, I thought we got over this so freaking long ago. Is this guy actually just coming back after TBC or something? I mean, the guy's level 70, but... Look, I'm sorry, but 25-man raids are just fine. We had this discussion back at the start of TBC, and if I am totally honest... In fact, I can tell you this for a bloody fact. The hardest raid content that's been put out was not 40-man. Fact. It was not. Blizzard are entirely capable of making very challenging 25-man encounters. And by the looks of it, even more challenging 10-man, because, hey, they keep messing up the balance on that one. Don't tell me... And yes, I get it. 40 men is harder to coordinate. It doesn't goddamn matter. Blizzard has demonstrated, beyond the shadow of a doubt, they can't balance for 40 men anyway. I'm trying to think of a few encounters where actually you needed all 40 people, and I'm coming up very short, unless they had some kind of gimmick, which involved you if you lost somebody, something horrible would happen. You know, we're talking about the Archimon-style gimmick right here. And actually there wasn't all that much of that in Vanilla WoW. Trying to think of all the content. I mean, the only content I didn't do was maybe the last 4 or 5 bosses of Naxxramas. I did everything else, and I'm thinking, you know, did it matter if somebody died in Cthulhu? Not really, no. You could handle it. You could lose quite a few people in Cthulhu. I'm fairly sure we did the defeat with like 27 people alive. Thaddeus? Well, the only thing about Thaddeus is that if somebody dies, the chances are they'll detonate everybody else as well, because they've gone the wrong side of the bloody polarity. But whatever the case, that's a possibility. Very, very rarely. Now, there were gimmicks in TBC where that kind of thing came into place. I actually kind of liked those gimmicks. Archimon is still one of the best fights in the game, in my opinion. It's great fun. Really awesome. Had to be on the ball. Everybody had to be on the ball. So, to hell with 40-man raids. I'm sorry. You know, for God's sake, the last 40-man raid was like 4 or 5 years ago. We don't care anymore. It's just beyond discussion. It really is. No more class specialization. Remember when you needed a Dwarf Priest just for Fear Ward? Now any 5 Paladins can do a group run and complete the instance. Here's the problem. Yeah, I remember when we needed a Dwarf Priest for Fear Ward. It sucked because I was Horde. Thank you very bloody much. That was too specific. Yeah? I'm okay with class specialization. Yeah? I'm okay with one class bringing individual unique buff. This is the problem with this person. I would agree with them if they weren't so goddamn crazy. Yeah? People take things so out of proportion, it's impossible to take them seriously. And it actually degenerates the discussion. I mean, this guy's been low-rated down. If only this guy was actually intelligent and thought things through, then this would probably be a good post, but it's not. It's like, are you seriously asking for the era of dwarf priests back? Are you freaking crazy? Don't be ridiculous. It's absurd. That was a dumbass thing to do. My God. It's like, well, you know why the Alliance got all the bloody world first? Because of dwarf priests and paladins. I was all okay with paladins. Dwarf priests were freaking ridiculous. At least then it's like, oh, our guild doesn't have any dwarves in it because no one wants to roll a goddamn dwarf. GG, we are somehow now completely handicapped. What a dumb idea. I'm okay with paladins. I'm alright with that, you know, because that's often a side grade. Sometimes shaman were better, sometimes paladins were better. That was fine. But there was really no situation at all, in fact, I think, where an undead priest would be more useful in PvE than a dwarf priest. Or any other kind of priest. How dumb is that? You can only have one race that's viable for playing a priest, and it happens to be the most ugly race in the bloody game. Why would you want that back? Explain this to me. You're freaking human, for God's sake. No more ammo. Seems this could be for those who couldn't remember to bring arrows or bullets, making it easy. Oh, wow! Fixate on the things that don't matter much! Bloody hell, no more ammo. Oh my God! Remind me what the point of ammo is again. There isn't one. There is no point in ammo. Ammo serves no purpose of any description. None! Zero! And don't tell me, oh, it adds the uniqueness of the class. Bugger the uniqueness of the class. It doesn't help you do anything other than the things that everyone else can do anyway. I shoot while I cast, and I don't need reagents to do that. So, that's retarded. I'm sorry, it is. The only problem I've got is the fact they took the ammo system out and they didn't deliver what they promised, which is to replace the ammo system with the idea that you can have a universal ammo type that is infinite, but it allows you to change the stat of your weapon slightly. I suppose you could argue, oh, well, reforging does that. Well, bugger reforging, you know. This could have been more interesting. Add a little bit of fire, add some frost, you know, add a little bit of speed or something like that. Just a little bit of uniqueness. And that's gone, because, well, Blizzard were too lazy to do that. And, hell, if you want anyone to support that argument, just go and talk to Big Red Kitty. He had the same argument. So, that's a dumb argument as well. Rep easier to get. Remember when you would grind something for months, you'd finally get the item, you were one of the 5 on the server with the item? Now anyone, if they spend 2 hours, can get what everyone else has. I am hardcore, I want something I spend a lot of time on and no one else has. Yes, I'm hardcore, I want something incredibly boring to do, so that I can waste my life in my basement, grinding out something which is zero fun of any description, just to get an E-penis boost over a couple of other people. Since when was rep grinding a satisfying thing to anybody? That's one thing I don't care about, yeah? Rep grinding is one of the worst systems in the game. Reputation is a sucky system. It's bad. It really, really is. There are some examples where it's not so terrible. For instance, the way they used to do it in Zilgarup, that was a bit better. But at the end of the day, reputation grinding sucks. It is an incredibly badly thought out system. It is. It's awful. It's so incredibly generic. It's just another experience bar that you fill up by doing repeatable quests and handing stuff in. My God, reputation does not work that way. Think about it for a second. Think about how this would apply in real life, yeah? You get exalted with the company of McDonald's because you flip 2,000 burgers. No, you don't. McDonald's actually don't care beyond a certain point, yeah? You don't become the hero of the goddamn village just by repeating a set of mundane tasks for 2 years straight. That is not how reputation should ever work. And then you completely redo it. It's garbage. It sucks. It's horrible. It's just experience 2. And who the hell wants that? Hey, we just reached level cap. It's okay. Here's some more bars for you. And that's what... hell, there are even actually bars. You can do that. Because we know that you're missing your experience bar, so here's another bar for you to fill up. My God, could that be any more dumb? I like to do something freaking heroic to actually gain the appreciation of the freaking tribe. Seriously, I should not be able to get exalted with a particular faction without doing something really goddamn special, and that does not mean handing in 5 million smegging dark iron dust or whatever. Thorium bars. Whatever the sod that they had there. I didn't even bother with that. Why would I? It was so dull. God. Now, after all of that nonsense, I guess what I'm saying is the game is much easier in all of these aspects that don't actually matter. Thank you, Poppy Seeds, for making us all look like idiots. Therein lies the problem. Every time a post like this comes up and they do this, the entire thing's derailed before you even start. You can't have a good discussion because of all this garbage. Do people not learn how to put together a cogent argument in school anymore? Is that the problem? It is, isn't it? That is the reason why this kind of nonsense gets on the internet. I'm on the internet, my opinion's really important. Yeah! Ugh! God, I feel so unbelievably sexy right now because I have an opinion. Ugh, I might even take off my pants and type it on the internet. Maybe, just maybe, with my genitalia. Who frickin' knows? Who wants to know, more to the point? You don't want to know. It's terrible. Come up with a decent bloody argument. Yeah, there are reasons why you can view the game as being easier, and none of those are one of them. Why don't you try things like, all of the heroic content is getting consistently nerfed over and over again. I can acquire epics for doing nothing but easy 5-mans. I get rewarded now for simply being a tank. Just by the virtue of the class that I rolled, I suddenly get additional rewards. How comical. Bear in mind, I must point out that I have no objection to this at all, by the way. As a DPS class, I don't care. Yeah? If they reward tanks and not DPS, fine. Huh? We are in the majority, I understand that. It's totally fine, I'm not worried. Feel free, reward the goddamn tanks for putting up with us idiots. But whatever the case, this is the problem with stupid-ass posts like this, because you know what? It gives people like Bashiok the opportunity to... It's not even a straw man argument, that's the sad thing. Against anybody else. Against anybody else. I'm sorry, I've just insulted a few Geordies. A few friends in Newcastle say, you can't say things like that. Or more to the point is, you can't say things like that, like. You can't say things like that, you daft good, like. And spike you out. Oh, I'm sorry, that's not even any good, but whatever. You know, actually, I have heard people that sound like that. That's not actually the Newcastle accent, that's a Spennymoor accent. Oh, sickening. This is the problem, right? It gives people like Bashiok the opportunity to just lay into an argument that none of us actually believes. And then he could turn around and say, oh, well, we just answered all of the critics. No, you didn't. You answered this one moron. So here's Bashiok's reply. I understand and respect gaming masochism, but I think that changes mechanics to be more reasonable and less punishing. Well, I think that changing mechanics to be more reasonable and less punishing is an improvement, not a detriment to games in general. Wrong! No, it isn't. Mechanics are supposed to be punishing if you suck. That's the point. Oh, it's okay. You can go through. Huh? It's like... I just, you know, it's we go back to the nightclub thing, isn't it? We go back to the nightclub analogy. It's like, oh, it's okay, you can go through. You're not wearing the proper dress code, you can go through. You know what, you ruin it for everybody else. You know, the quality of the club or the restaurant is degraded by the fact that these scrubs are allowed in. No, mechanics should be punishing, they should not be unfair. They should be punishing, however. They should punish you for making mistakes. This is the basic principle behind every game ever. Why does Blizzard suddenly believe that this needs to change? Why is it not okay to fail anymore? Many of us original gamers pine for the days of D&D-based yacht. No, we don't. When games were seemingly intended to break us down to sobbing masses, no, they were not. That's not what games did. Seriously, beyond the arcade days where they were doing nothing more than trying to get as many quarters out of you as possible, that is not what games did, ever. You know, I started playing games in 1987. Yeah, that was 3 years after I was born. And I do not remember a large number of games that did that. And the ones that did, they were arcade ports. Games were not designed to do that. They weren't. Let's not pretend that they were. It's bollocks. It's revisionist history. That's not what they were designed to do. There were multiple difficulty levels for a goddamn reason, Blizzard. Why do you forget that? For God's sake, I just remember I've been playing Blackthorn on my phone, and I'm fairly sure that's got 3 or 4 difficulty levels. Your game only has 2, Blizzard. What the hell's wrong with you? You released Blackthorn, 20 years ago now, give or take? You've suddenly forgotten how to make a video game, apparently. I have 1 life? No! Are you serious? Think of how many really successful games gave you way more chances than that. It's okay to give people chances. It's not okay to have unfair bull crap. That's the point. You have a balanced difficulty system to appeal to as many people as possible, then you give multiple difficulties to ensure that everyone is catered to. And they have to work to succeed, and therefore they get satisfaction. That's how it works. Overcoming all of the obstacles is a big part of gaming, especially PC gaming. How do I load mouse drivers? We're all about. No, it wasn't. It was never about that. We always hated that rubbish. Don't even try to pull that crap. You know, it is nonsense. That is such a straw man. It's nothing but. Nobody actually pines for those days, and I do mean nobody. That is not what it's all about. Anyway, he goes on, what we've been trying to do, and what WoW's always been about, is to make an accessible MMO. You already did! It was accessible at frickin' launch, Blizzard! You don't have to make all of your content 100% accessible for the game to be accessible! I've said this 1,000 times before! You don't need to finish the game in order to get enjoyment out of it! You raise the game! You raise your level! As you go through, you get inherently better the more you play! That's the point of video games and every video game on the goddamn planet! At least it would be if Blizzard wasn't trying to goddamn change it. Why must they mess with the goddamn paradigm? I have to wonder. Anyone that looks back at the game at launch and wishes it was as challenging now as it was, not aware of the painstaking effort put in to make this game more accessible compared to its predecessors. The game was accessible at launch, don't even get me started. It was praised for its accessibility. That was what made it so successful. Since release, we've refined that intent, eventually evolving the very few masochistic designs WoW actually ever started with, but ideally still offering those same prestige goals that give that feeling of achieving something great if you're able to pull it off. We made a lot of progress towards striking that balance continuing to arrive the game. You've not done it, though. That's the problem. I've told you 1,000 times before, it's like having a game with easier nightmare mode. That is the current state of it. You can just look at the massive drop-off between people that are able to do normal content and people that are able to do heroic content. Look at the number of guilds that are left disenfranchised by that. And you might say, oh, well, you know, Total Biscuit. Yes. Total Biscuit. You can't say things like that. You're supposed to be saying they should raise their game. I'm sorry, but that's part of design, folks. You cannot have sudden difficulty spikes and then expect people to be able to adapt to it. It is bad game design. If your game is not properly training you to get past these encounters, something is wrong with your design. So when I see difficulty spikes and stuff like Dragon Age and things like that, they're completely out of whack and they don't make any goddamn sense. That is bad design. The curve is wrong. Fix it. It's not something we're ever likely to perfect. Well, because they weren't to hit that elusive goal. Christ, Bashiok, seriously. You guys don't even understand what is required to reach that goal. Your attitude is completely wrong, and as a result, they'll never get it right. You'll never hit that perfection because you don't even understand what it is you're trying to perfect. I wish Blizzard did. They used to. What the hell happened? The funny thing is that Tom Chilton said this ages ago, probably about a year ago to Gamescom, that they were really considering multiple difficulty levels beyond just normal and heroic. That would fix it, for God's sake. That's all you need. More difficulty levels, and don't give people gear they don't deserve. That's all that's all I really want, yeah? I would actually be happy with that. I really would be. As it stands now, you don't have any 5-man content that's remotely hard. Not even the new stuff, and trust me, we 4-manned it, we know. My name is Total Biscuit, you are listening to Blue Please right here on CynicalBrits.com. This seems goddamn appropriate. It's by Machine Head. It's called The Blood, the Sweat, and the Tears. Enjoy.